I think this is a Musketoon. This thing's real similar to a modern day shotgun. It doesn't fire one projectile. It shoots a lot of little teeny projectiles. You'd shoot it right into a crowd of somebody and then turn it around and use it as a club.
This was an incredible piece of technology. A well-trained soldier could get off 28 rounds a minute with this gun, okay? A muzzle-loading gun, depending on your position, up to 6, and generally a lot less.
The episode opens with donuts, and not just any donuts. The guys are arguing about which one Rick will pick. Corey bets on chocolate, the old man says plain, and Chum insists it'll be glazed. They even make a bet out of it. Losers pay for lunch. By the time Rick walks in, they're hovering over the box like gamblers at a racetrack. Instantly senses something's up. What kind of laxative's in these donuts? He grumbles.
How are you, Richie?
I'm good.
Brought you some gifts.
Sweet. I always take donuts. Well, leave the plain ones for Ricky.
You don't want the plain ones, he's gonna want a chocolate one.
He's gonna want a plain one.
He likes the glazed ones. I mean, he's boring, but he's not plain donut boring.
I bet you anything he likes the chocolate ones.
Rick refuses to touch them, and the crew gets more desperate by the second. The old man tries to play it cool, pretending to eat one just to tempt him, but Rick doesn't bite. Something ain't right, he mutters. Corey sighs. Just eat a damn donut. The whole situation feels like an interrogation scene. 4 men, 1 box of donuts, and a ridiculous amount of tension. Welcome to the gold and silver pawn shop, where even pastries spark drama, and
to know that it was a piece used to build the Spruce Goose.
What's up, Pops?
Oh, nothing.
Davey brought donuts.
I could totally go for a donut right now. What do we got?
Your favorite, pick one out.
All right, cool.
We have a bet going on to see which donut Rick will pick.
Then a customer walks in with something that immediately shifts the vibe. A small test piece from the Spruce Goose, Howard Hughes' legendary wooden airplane. The seller claims it was used in engineering the real plane. Rick's eyes light up. This was one of the most insane feats of engineering ever, he says, clearly in nerd heaven. The seller wants $10,000, saying he needs the cash for a trade show. Rick's skeptical but intrigued.
Just eat a donut, Grandpa. Eat 10.
Good donut.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good, thanks.
What do we got here?
This is a model of...
A Spruce Goose with no propellers.
That's what we have. But this is what I'm really selling. It's an engineering piece.
Rick launches into a mini history lesson. During World War II, aluminum was scarce, so Hughes built the largest airplane ever, entirely out of plywood. It was supposed to carry 750 troops or 1 tank. Rick explains, eyes wide. The seller beams, and it actually flew. For about a minute, Rick nods, impressed. But when he asks for documentation, the seller only has a letter from a previous owner. Rick sighs. That's not exactly a certificate of authenticity.
This was an incredible feat of engineering.
Absolutely.
It was World War II, and the government wanted to know if you could build a large airplane out of non-strategic materials.
Right.
Not aluminum.
Rick calls in Mark Hall Patton, the resident museum guru. Mark arrives like a history wizard with a beard full of secrets. He explains the real name was the Hercules HK-1, not Spruce Goose. He even demonstrates how laminated plywood worked under pressure and heat to make aircraft parts strong. So this could actually be a test beam from Hughes' design, Mark confirms. Rick grins, but you know what's coming. Mark doesn't appraise value.
This guy came in with a test piece from Howard Hughes' massive plane, the Spruce Goose. But we need to make sure it is what the owner claims it is. We've got Mark Hall Patton on the case. I think it was a piece used in engineering the Spruce Goose.
Well, we can call it the Hercules HK-1, which was actually the name of it.
Corey delivers the bad news to the seller. We can do $200. The guy looks like he's been slapped with a wing. $200? He gasps, explaining that since multiple engineers took home similar samples, it's not that rare. The seller, still stunned, says it's a sign to keep it. Translation: he's not selling for pocket change. Probably would have flown off with the thing himself.
No, that you'll never get out of me, you know that. The test piece is an interesting piece. It's kind of nice to see it because it shows how much work went into creating this airplane.
Give me just a minute, I'm gonna go call my boss. How much did you want?
$10,000.
Okay.
Just when Rick thinks the chaos is over, in comes a man with 6 Stephen Fishwick portraits: Elvis, Bob Marley, Picasso, James Dean, Sinatra, and one that kinda looks like a bald Rick. That's you, Rick! The seller explains they're limited edition Giclée prints worth $500 each. Rick rolls his eyes, saying, limited edition means 300 copies of the same painting. Still, he admits they're cool.
Getting into the moment. I love it.
So which one do you like the best?
Wow, I've got green eyes, but I gotta go with this one. Or blue eyes.
Okay.
This represents Las Vegas.
Is that the fat Elvis or the skinny Elvis?
That is skinnier Elvis, yeah.
Okay.
I like that Marley right there.
Can't go wrong with a man who's got some dreadlocks.
The seller tries negotiating from $500 down to $300 each, but Rick starts lowballing, "I'll do $150 a piece." They banter like pros. "Come on, man," the seller pleads, "for the sake of Bob Marley." Rick finally meets him at $215 each just to end the debate. The guy's thrilled, saying, "I got more than I bargained for." Rick mutters, "And I got 6 paintings I don't have wall space for." Business as usual.
I just don't want to take him back to the car.
All right, $210 a piece.
$215.
You know what? $215 a piece. So I can get you out of my store. Come on, let's go.
I am ecstatic. I actually got more than I bargained for. So with the money, I'm gonna have me some fun.
Meanwhile, the donut war continues. Corey's determined to win the bet, waving the box in Rick's face. "Pick one. Anyone," he pleads. Rick's suspicious. "You guys are acting like you put poison in them." Corey finally cracks, confessing, "We just bet on which one you'd pick." Rick shakes his head, disgusted. "You guys are down to betting on pastries? That's pathetic." Then he walks away, leaving them speechless. Petty victory achieved.
Something that silly. Pick a damn donut.
You guys are down to betting on that?
Just pick a donut.
Fine. You know what? I'm not hungry.
You're not gonna pick a donut.
Nope, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction. No donuts.
Before anyone can recover, a man walks in with a miniature model of Joe Robbie Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins. It's a stunning architectural model made of corkboard and balsa wood. "How'd you even get this thing in here?" The seller explains it was commissioned in the 1980s to sell the idea of a new stadium to fans. He wants $12,000. Rick whistles. That's Dolphins money, not pawn shop money.
How in the world did you get this thing in here?
Very carefully, man.
All right, so what in the hell is this?
Miami Dolphin Stadium.
I'm assuming an architectural rendering or
Yeah.
corkboard and...
I think they use balsa wood.
Rick calls it amazing, but reminds the guy it's not easy to sell stadium models to casual collectors. "I mean, who's got room for this in their house?" he jokes. The seller argues it's historic, built for Joe Robbie himself. Rick counters, "Yeah, but the Hall of Fame didn't write you a check." Ouch. The seller pleads for $8,000. Rick fires back $6,000. After some awkward silence, they shake hands. Another lowball success story.
Team a few years later. God, it must suck being in Cleveland, man. The best thing you have to look at is a copy of the Dolphin Stadium.
Hey, come on, don't be brutal. We get enough razzing.
You know, there's a lot of fanatical football fans out there that would love to have something like this.
As the seller leaves, Rick turns to Chumley and says, "Now what am I supposed to do with a stadium the size of a coffee table?" Chumley grins. "We could use it for fantasy football. You'd lose that too." Corey laughs from behind the counter, yelling, "Hey Dad, you should have bet a donut on it." Rick's glare could melt metal. The day started with donuts and ended with a stadium. Vegas logic at its finest.
How about 8?
It's not gonna happen. I mean, think about it, dude. I'd take all the risk. I'm the one that actually has to find someone to buy it. It's gonna cost me time, money, and resources. Those $6,000, it's the most I can do.
How about 7?
Big House, I'll build you this for $3,000.
$6,000, man, that's what I'm willing to pay.
The episode kicks off with Corey trying to sneak out early for a paintball match with Chumley. It's barely 5 o'clock and the old man catches him red-handed. "Your shift ain't over till 6, he barks. Corey tries to charm his way out of it, but Rick isn't buying it either. "Now you're worried about what I'll do later?" Corey jokes. Rick fires back, "Yeah, you might actually work." Cue the intro music, classic pawn shop rebellion.
Chum, get ready, man. It's time to go.
Wait a minute. It's only 5 o'clock. Where in the hell are you going?
Me and Chum are going paintballing.
Your shift's not over till 6.
You just don't get off early.
You'll make a habit of it.
So now you're worried about what I might do later on.
What you will do later on.
The first seller walks in with what he calls a card holdout device. Rick's eyes light up, a potential gambling relic from the Old West. The guy says he found it metal detecting in Texas. Rick jokes, "If there's anywhere you'd find a card cheat, it's Texas." The seller wants a few $100, and Rick immediately channels his inner Wyatt Earp, giving a mini history lesson on poker cheats who got shot when caught.
Card holdout device.
You mean like a card cheating device or something?
Yes, sir. I found this with my metal detector. I'm a treasure hunter.
Okay, where at?
In
in Arlington, Texas.
Well, if that's where you're going to have a card cheat, that's what it's going to generally be in Texas.
You're right.
Rick fiddles with the metal contraption, imagining how cheaters hid cards under their sleeves. The seller demonstrates you'd hang it inside your jacket and slip cards in and out. Rick's impressed. So that's where a hold your cards close to your vest came from. He starts looking up the patent date, muttering like Sherlock Holmes. But when the results come in, the twist hits. It's not a card cheat device at all. It's a cuff holder.
I just checked it out, and it showed one for sale as a cheating device.
All right, let me just do one thing first. I'll look up this patent date, and this will pop up. I'll see exactly what this is supposed to be.
No problem.
Move, Pops. The internet's not working over here.
What?
Move.
Why?
Rick's face drops faster than a bad poker hand. A cuff holder? The seller blinks. You mean like for shirts? Rick nods. The guy looks devastated. So it's not worth anything? Rick confirms. No market for cuff holders, man. The poor seller walks out defeated, muttering he'll just put it back in a shoebox. Rick smirks. That's why you check before you bet the house.
Cuff holder.
Cuff holder.
The cuff was separate from the shirt, and they would have some sort of device to hold it to your shirt. It's not an antique cheating device. It held cuffs on shirts.
There wouldn't be any market for a cuff holder?
No, because people don't wear paper cuffs anymore.
Then Corey limps into the shop, looking like he fought a war. His wrist is bandaged, his ankle's twisted, and his pride's bruised. Chum brags, I backed him into a corner, he tripped over his shoelace. Corey protests it was just bad luck. Rick laughs, that's karma for leaving work early. When asked if he kept shooting after Corey fell, Chum admits, yeah, once, in the head. The old man doesn't even flinch. You took off early yesterday, don't think you are today.
Just put it back in the shoebox and wait till somebody wants to buy it.
What happened to you?
Well, me and Chum were paintballing and I messed up my wrist and twisted my ankle.
I backed him into a corner and he got scared and tried to run, tripped over his shoelace, and he hurt himself. Don't mess with me when it comes to paintball, son.
Next, a seller brings in a painting by Jim Daley. Rick immediately recognizes the nostalgic Americana vibe. The seller explains his dad was a mover and someone once tipped him with the painting. This was a tip? Rick says, stunned. The man's asking for $13,000. Rick's intrigued but cautious. It might be a print. There's a thumbprint and a signature, the seller argues. Rick calls in Brett, the gallery expert, to settle the score.
It's a Jim Daley painting.
That's really, really cool. You know, my dad lost like 40 or 50 pounds and grew a mustache. He'd look a lot like that, probably.
Brett examines it closely, giving an art history crash course. Daley's work focuses on small-town, pre-We Too America, where nostalgia meets skill. Brett flips it over, studying the paint on the canvas edge. It's not a print, it's a one-of-a-kind original, he declares. Rick grins. Brett estimates $10,000 to $15,000 retail value. The seller beams, already picturing payday.
I have a friend who owns an art gallery, and I think he's actually still here. He was down here looking at some other stuff for me. So let's lay this down real quick. Let me go find him.
Okay.
Printing technology has gotten so advanced, unless you have a trained eye, you can't tell the difference between a painting and a print.
But then the haggling begins. Rick lowballs at $6,000. The seller shoots for $13,000, then drops to $10,000. How's it feel to want? Rick jokes. They go back and forth. $8,500, $7,500, and finally Rick stands firm at $6,500. After a sigh and a handshake, deal done. The seller admits, I did go lower than I wanted, but it'll help my new business. Rick smirks. That's art and negotiation.
All right, so what's it worth and what's the market like?
In a retail fine art gallery for a piece this size, quality, and condition, you'd probably be looking at about $10,000 to $15,000.
Really? Good to hear.
It's a beautiful piece.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll get back to work over there.
The next customer walks in with something that looks like a mix between a baby stroller and a horror movie prop. He calls it an 1800 stroller. Rick jokes, you sure it's not a rickshaw for a small person? The guy wants $500. Rick studies it. Bolts, rubber tires, folding metal. This isn't early 1800s, he declares. The seller swears it's rare. Rick agrees. It's rare because nobody knows what it is.
All right, yeah, it's definitely different.
Looks dangerous.
It's almost like a wheelchair, and it folds up into nothing. Pretty simple, actually. This thing right here, then just goes down like that.
Rick admits he's stumped. I don't even know who to call about this thing. The seller finally confesses he paid $2.50 for it at auction. Rick laughs out loud. Well, I'll give you 10. The guy pushes for $30. Rick counters $20. They shake hands, and Rick mutters, I just paid $20 for something I can't even describe. Somewhere, Chumley's probably Googling demon baby stroller.
50 cents for it at the auction, right?
Every once in a while I run into this, I just get completely baffled, and I don't even know who to call. I have no idea who would be interested in this. I'll give you 10 bucks.
How about 30? I would think, something like this being as unique as it is.
Meanwhile, Corey, still limping, heads out back to meet a seller with a custom rat bike. It's part motorcycle, part scrap metal sculpture. The guy proudly declares, "It'll beat anything you've ridden." Corey's eyes light up. "I'll take that bet." The seller's asking $15,000, explaining every part was custom built from random car pieces. "My taillight? 1954 Chrysler Hemi valve springs," he boasts. Corey's impressed but cautious. "It looks cool, but screams liability."
So this is it, huh? Oh, that's nice, man.
This is my hardtail bobber rat bike. I would be willing to bet a couple of $1,000 it's faster than anything you've ridden.
I'd take that bet, my man.
Corey calls in his friend Chris, a vintage Harley expert with the best hair in Vegas. They fire it up and surprisingly, it runs great. Chris says it's well built but warns it's too niche to resell. "You'd need to find a buyer who loves it exactly like this," he says. Market value, $6,000 to $8,000 tops. The builder frowns, saying it cost $15,000 just in materials. Corey sympathizes but still offers $5,000. No deal.
Well, it sounds good. It's not ticking really bad in the top end.
So what I need to know is, what are these bikes going for these days right now?
I mean, these bikes are so specialized that you would have to find another buyer that would want the same style of the bike.
Corey walks away shrugging. It's one of a kind, but too unique to sell. The builder rides off, still convinced it's worth $15,000, turns to Corey, who's grinning. Earlier, Rick had pranked him with a tacky shirt. Now, Corey's revenge. He turned Rick's car into a clam chowder air freshener.
He's comparing it to something that you buy that's a piece of junk that needs to be completely rebuilt.
All right, man, I appreciate you coming down. Oh, all right.
All right, brother. Good to meet you, Jay.
Nice meeting you.
Take care, buddy.
Listen, my man, you said you want 15, and Chris is telling me between 6 and 8, which means I got to get it for 5.
The episode kicks off with Chumley bragging about his new fitness journey, telling Corey he's going hiking this weekend. Corey's unimpressed, saying, "You didn't even enjoy it last time. You were whining the whole way." Chum defends himself, insisting it'll be different this time. The old man chimes in with, "Back in my day, I walked 2 miles to school," prompting Corey's savage reply, "And that was before you had shoes, right?" The banter sets the tone. Same old pawn shop chaos.
So, Corey, what are you doing this weekend?
Absolutely nothing. It's going to be great.
I'm going hiking, get my workout on.
Good for you, Chum.
It doesn't even sound like you'd enjoy it. Last time we were walking in the desert, huffing and puffing and whining the whole time.
Next, Rick gets approached by a customer with a hit-and-miss engine, claiming it's a salesman sample used to demonstrate to farmers. The guy proudly explains its mechanics, while Rick geeks out like a kid in a museum. "This was the first gasoline motor that farmers used," Rick explains, eyes sparkling. "You can get 2 horsepower with just 500 pounds of steel." Rick starts explaining combustion cycles like it's a history TED Talk.
Hit and miss?
Right on.
Okay.
It's a genuine hit and miss. Now, I think it was the salesman's sample as he went from farm to sell these things.
So we got the belt on here. Do you mind if I take this out? Because that's a little creepy. All right. I'll put that over. Yeah, that's just weird.
Rick fires it up, marveling as the machine chugs away. "This is nerd heaven," he admits. The seller beams while Rick notes that the model's been rode hard and put away wet. The seller insists it gives the machine character, but Rick deadpans, "Don't tell me it gives it character." They laugh it off and jump into negotiation mode. Rick lowballs him at $1,500, and the seller tries to bump it up to $2,000.
It only needs to fire to keep it idling right. Once it got up to speed, it would lock in and keep the exhaust valve open. And since the exhaust valve was open, there was no vacuum to suck fuel in it. And then it would just cruise along and coast. Just nerd, I mean, this is nerd heaven right here. I love this machine. It's not every day that you get to see simple machines like this.
Rick works his magic and meets the seller halfway at $1,800, sealing the deal with that smug smile that says, "I just scored big." The seller's torn between pride and regret, mumbling, "Maybe I priced it too low." Rick doesn't care. He's already picturing where to display his new mechanical toy. The old man would probably call it junk, but Rick's too busy feeling like Thomas Edison's cooler cousin.
It's far from a new model, and I need to resell it, okay?
You do have overhead. I'm aware of that. And can we move your like up to 2,000?
I think we can meet in the middle at like 1750.
That's not fair, huh?
Back inside, Chumley pesters Corey to hike with him again. Corey grumbles but agrees, saying, "Fine, but don't call me at the crack of dawn." Chumley promises to pick him up at 8 o'clock sharp, which means, obviously, 7:15. The old man overhears and suggests he should go too. Corey jokes, "We'll carry you, Grandpa." Chumley nods, "Yeah, I'll get you something to ride."
I need someone to go hiking with me this weekend. Come on, dude.
I'll go, but I'm not going. Don't call me at the crack of dawn.
I'll tell you what, I'll be at your house at 7:15.
8 o'clock.
7:30.
8 o'clock.
Okay, I'll be there.
All right, 8 o'clock.
Famous last words. Chumley later unveils his brilliant idea, horseback riding. The old man's instantly in. Rick shakes his head saying, "You're too old to get on a horse." The old man fires back, "If I can ride a caribou, I can ride a horse." Chumley blinks. What the hell is a caribou? Rick sighs, "It's like a reindeer." The argument escalates until Rick gives up entirely. "Do whatever you want, you're a grown man." Big mistake.
What are you gonna do? Like get him like an off-road jazzy scooter?
Something like that. Doesn't exactly have a motor on it. More of like a horse.
He is too old to get on a horse.
Oh, bull. If I can ride a caribou, I can ride a horse.
Meanwhile, a new customer walks in holding a Turbo Man action figure from Jingle All the Way. Chumley lights up like it's Christmas morning, quoting Arnold Schwarzenegger lines. Does he have to terminate someone to get the toy? He jokes. The seller explains how the toy sold out nationwide in 1996, just like Tickle Me Elmo that same year.
Turbo Man action figure came out in 1996 along with the movie Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. Have you ever heard of this?
It was all about a father trying to find a toy for his son on Christmas Eve, and this figure in the movie was completely sold out.
Arnold's the dad or something trying to get the toy?
Exactly.
The collector wants $150 each, but Chumley's not having it. Toy expert Johnny Jimenez stops by to inspect them, confirming they're in pristine, case-fresh condition. Still, he says the nostalgia market isn't huge, maybe $300 total. Chumley offers $175 for both, joking, "It's not Tickle Me Elmo." The seller agrees, laughing that his wife just wanted them gone anyway. Another tiny win for Team Chum.
Toy had more of a nostalgic factor than it was really produced for kids to play with.
Is there a big market for Turbo Man?
If you didn't watch this movie, you didn't really know who Turbo Man was, and a lot of people don't even know that they made the toy for it. But every time I put it on my shelves, I have no problem moving it.
Cut back to the shop where a seller walks in with an 1864 Lincoln & Johnson campaign poster. Rick immediately nerds out, explaining how Lincoln's 1864 election happened in the middle of the Civil War. Normally, you'd delay the vote, he says, but Lincoln still ran it. That's integrity. The poster's faded though. The reds are pink, the yellows are beige. Rick's not sure if it's genuine, so he calls in Mark, his historical documents expert.
That's really, really cool. I mean, there's certain things you have to give Abraham Lincoln. You know, normally a country in the middle of a war is not going to have an election.
Right, and that's right.
But he allowed it anyway.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been surprising if he said we're going to delay the election until after the war. I mean, I like these old posters. They have the whole static pose, you know what I mean?
Right.
Mark inspects it and confirms it's authentic, a genuine Courier and Ives print from Lincoln's re-election campaign. Rick's thrilled, but the expert points out it's badly faded and water damaged. In pristine condition, it'd be worth $9,000. Rick offers $500, eventually bumping to $600 after some pleading. The seller reluctantly agrees, thrilled to have found history in a garage sale. Rick smiles, already hearing Lincoln whisper, "You did good, son."
I think this is an original 1864 Courier and Ives campaign poster.
Wow.
For Lincoln and Johnson. To find it at a garage sale, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good to see you. Thanks
too.
a lot.
Thanks.
Then comes the grand finale, the horseback riding adventure. Chumley's hyped, Rick's suspicious, and Corey's terrified. They show up expecting scenic trails and mountain breezes, only to find a suburban horse pen near an apartment complex. Chumley grins sheepishly. "I didn't want to take the old man too far." Rick glares. "You call this the great outdoors? We could have just gone to a petting zoo."
I'm pretty good. For once, Chum had a great idea for us all to go horseback riding. It's a gorgeous morning, and I can't wait to get out there with my son, my dad, and my chum.
So is there a trail somewhere we could ride on?
There's no trails out here. We just go in a circle.
Rick decides to ride first, that the horse looks like it's plotting something. The old man insists he can ride too, yelling, "I rode a caribou!" Rick reminds him, "Yeah, when you were 22 and drunk in the Navy." The old man shrugs. Still counts. The family chaos hits peak form as Rick rides off alone, muttering, "You're a pain in my ass, old man."
Mom would kill me if you got hurt. You're not riding dead.
I rode a caribou. I can ride a damn horse.
You rode a caribou when you were like 22 years old and you were drunk in the Navy.
Well, that's true.
Well, I guess I'm the only one riding today.
You're a pain in my ass, Ricky.
Hey, come on, girl. Come on, boy. Come on, girl.
The episode kicks off with a mystery propeller, and not just any hunk of wood. A guy claims it was a gift from Charles freaking Lindbergh to his grandmother. Instantly, the old man's eyes light up, and Rick's already trying to figure out if this thing belongs in a museum or if grandma was just telling tall tales. The seller drops the Lindbergh name like it's hot, but with no paperwork? Yikes.
Oh my God.
So what do we got here?
What is this?
This is a propeller passed down to me. It was a gift to my grandmother that was given to her by Charles Lindbergh.
Hey, Rick, that matches your head.
The story goes, Lindbergh gave the propeller to Grandma for selling war bonds in World War II. Noble cause, but the old man's face screams, "Sure, buddy." Rick nerds out over the craftsmanship. Perfect balance, manufacturer specs still visible. The old man quips that the propeller matches Rick's head, smooth and shiny. Without documentation, they're both shrugging harder than two confused airport mechanics.
It was never put on an airplane.
Back in the day, there was superstars, heroes, whatever you want to call them. Lindbergh was one.
When it comes to American aviation, the three biggest names are the Wright brothers, Amelia Earhart, and Lindbergh.
Rick says what we're all thinking. Could be worth $10 or $10,000. That's Pawn Stars logic in a nutshell. They call in an aviation expert because at this point, Lindbergh could either mean jackpot or junkyard. The seller walks off confident, saying, "It's been a treasure to my family, but not to me." Translation, Grandma's sentimental heirloom is about to fund my weekend in Vegas.
But what's it worth?
I have no clue.
Me either. I don't know if it's worth $10 or $10,000. You got any paperwork, any documentation on this
I don't
thing?
have any documentation. That I'm still working on.
Next, we cut to another customer dragging in what looks like a medieval cannon, but turns out to be a flintlock musket. The guy calls it a prehistoric rocket launcher. Rick looks like he just found a pirate weapon, and honestly, he's not wrong. The gun's massive. Rick starts geeking out about how these things shot clusters of metal into crowds, a 1600s version of crowd control.
Shotgun, it doesn't fire one projectile. It shoots a lot of little teeny projectiles. You'd shoot it right into a crowd of somebody and then turn it around and use it as a club. Nice. The problem was with the way they made brass back then, they didn't know how brass was made, really.
Rick explains the Tower of London proof test. Basically, they overloaded the musket to see if it exploded. If it didn't, congratulations, soldier. Here's your ticket to shoulder pain. The gun's old, possibly 1600s, but it's been tampered with. Screws replaced, parts mismatched. Rick admits, "I don't know if this is real or a Frankenstein project. Time for an expert." The customer's confident, which is always dangerous on this show.
Obviously, they weren't going to give it to a soldier. If it handled it, they would put the proof marks in it and hand it off to the soldier. So what do you want to do with it?
I'd like to sell it.
I got a few concerns with it. Okay. I've never seen a whole lock mechanism like this. Much more complicated than what they normally had.
Meanwhile, in true Pawn Stars fashion, the old man and Rick bicker about stress. Rick's doctor told him he's got high blood pressure from stress. The old man's cure? Back in my day, you got a bottle of Jack and took care of it. Rick's squeezing stress balls while his dad just roasts him mercilessly. "You've been stressed for 60 years, Rick says. "You don't see me playing with my balls all day." The old man fires back, "Absolute TV gold."
Lately, I've been feeling under the weather, so I went and saw my doctor, and all she can say is, I'm stressed out. I already knew I was stressed out.
So what did the doctor have to say?
Said I have too much stress in my life.
Too much stress? What do you mean, stress?
Says I have high blood pressure as a result of stress, and she thinks it's because of all of you.
Enter Sean, the arms expert. He inspects the musket like it's an artifact from a pirate ship, because it probably is. He explains that parts of it date back to the 1680s, with a recycled lock and barrel from different eras. Apparently, back then, soldiers were the kings of recycling, fixing busted guns and sending them back into service. Rick looks like a kid on Christmas morning.
Hey Sean, what's up? Here it is.
Earlier today, a guy brought me a flintlock Musketoon. If it's real, it could be worth a lot of money, but I'm skeptical. So I called in my buddy Sean to take a look at it and authenticate it for me.
So what are your concerns, Rick?
First off, is it real? And if it is, it looks like it has a lot of stuff replaced right here. I mean, every screw seems different.
Sean declares it's 100% real, a rare Moscato musket, the kind used for ship-to-ship combat. He's genuinely thrilled, saying, "Most museums don't even have one." Translation: Rick's about to overpay again. Value estimate $10,000 to $15,000. Rick's eyebrows rise faster than gunpowder igniting. The seller's grinning like he just brought in buried treasure.
Parts. Has it been cleaned and cleaned in the wrong way? You know, these are all little things that add up to what could be potentially a make or break situation when you're buying something. I can tell you the history right now about this.
Okay.
There's two different time periods that we're dealing with here.
Negotiation time. My favorite part. Rick offers $4,000. The seller counters at $10,000, and they awkwardly tango in true Pawn Stars fashion. Rick bumps it to $6,000 with that classic line, "Take it or leave it." The guy hesitates, then takes it. Rick wins, but you know he's already stressing about overpaying. Somewhere, the old man's voice echoes, "Told you so."
So what's it worth?
You have no idea what you have here. You know, you don't find this every day. I mean, it's 100% real, and it's worth quite a bit of money. Rick, most museums don't even have a Musketoon like this.
Back at the shop, the stress ball saga continues. Rick's thrown them in the trash, claiming they don't work. Corey teases, "Maybe you weren't breathing right." Chumley offers to give Rick a massage, and Rick looks like he'd rather get hit with the musket. "All I need is 5 minutes of peace and quiet," Rick says. Spoiler, he's never getting that in this lifetime.
There you go, man. Good day. Thanks a lot. Why are balls in the trash?
I tried them, they don't work.
Maybe you weren't using them right. Maybe you weren't breathing properly.
Last week, I went and saw my doctor, and she diagnosed me with being stressed. And I've been squeezing these damn stress balls. If anything, all I do is just get more frustrated.
Rick's aviation expert, Mark, finally arrives to examine the Lindbergh propeller. He's from the Howard W. Cannon Aviation Museum, so yeah, the man knows his wings. He immediately confirms it's pre-World War II, beautifully preserved and valuable as an antique. But when Rick drops the Lindbergh claim, Mark's eyebrow shoots up so high it hits the ceiling fan.
Rick, hey Mark, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Man, how are you doing?
Yeah, how's it going?
Yesterday, a man brought in a propeller that he believes was given to his grandmother by Charles Lindbergh. So I called my buddy Mark in here, see if we can tie this thing to Lindbergh, and then maybe we can make a deal.
Mark explains Lindbergh was against World War II at first, part of the America First movement, meaning he probably wasn't handing out war bond souvenirs. Without proof, the story doesn't fly. If it were real, Mark says, there'd be newspaper coverage. Translation: no article, no Lindbergh, no jackpot. The seller's faith is unshaken, insisting grandma's word is gospel. Gotta love that confidence.
You said that Charles Lindbergh supposedly gave this to your grandmother?
That's correct. For selling war bonds, that's the information I have.
Do you have any documentation of Charles Lindbergh giving this to your grandmother?
No, I don't right now. We had documentation.
Rick and the old man tag team the offer. Rick goes $1,000, old man bumps it to $1,500, saying, "Find proof and I'll pay double." The seller decides to do more research and leaves. Honestly, smart move. Without documentation, it's just a nice old propeller, not a golden ticket. Rick sums it up perfectly. If it's tied to Lindbergh, it's worth a lot more.
Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Mark. Even though Mark couldn't verify this propeller for us, it's still an antique, it's still in great shape, it's still worth money, just not nearly as much. Since I can't tie it to Charles Lindbergh, I'm sort of torn here.
Before you can blink, a new guy strolls in claiming to have Willie Nelson's keychain from his 1990 Mercedes. The old man's immediate reaction? "You wasting my time, boy?" The seller swears his dad bought it at auction, discovered the name on the title later. The old man, unbothered, says, "There's more than one Willie Nelson." The man's sarcasm is a national treasure.
There's no way that I can verify that this came off of Will Nelson's car.
My father, good man, 25 years in the car business, gave this to me as a gift. Bought the car personally at auction and discovered it was Willie Nelson's after the fact when he looked at the name on the title.
The old man challenges him. "If you get Willie Nelson to confirm that, I'll retire." And the way he says it, you just know that ain't happening. The seller awkwardly smiles and says he'll prove it someday. Another legend we'll never meet. It's the perfect example of Pawn Stars delusion, and I love it.
Is this a joke, son? The day that he gets Will Nelson to certify that that was his keychain is the day I'll retire. And I guarantee you, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Maybe I should just make it into a necklace or something.
All right, guy.
I do believe that this keychain is authentic.
The finale brings us full circle. Rick's done with stress balls, so he decides to fire the musket. The expert loads it up with powder, nails, and 1700s vibes. They light it, count down, and boom. The blast nearly knocks the stress right out of Rick. In one shot, all my stress went away, he grins. That's not therapy, that's Pawn Stars therapy.
My doctor diagnosed me with stress, and I've been using the stress balls for like a week, and to be honest, they don't work. Here you go, Chum. I'm tired of being stressed. I'm the owner of this place. I'm gonna start having a good time, and I'm gonna start with this Musketoon.
Awesome. So who would actually shoot this thing?
This was British military, primarily the Royal Navy.
As the smoke clears, Rick smiles like a man reborn. "I'm so happy I bought this gun," he says. "I think I'll rename it the Stress Reliever. Honestly, iconic. Forget stress balls. Rick just cured his anxiety with black powder and history. Only in Pawn Stars, folks. Only in Pawn Stars."
Yeah, seat it well. That creates the breech pressure. Projectile. Seat it well. Okay, guys, we're ready.
Lots of people find shooting guns soothing, but not too many people get to do it with a 1750 Musketoon.
3, 2, 1.